of praise. I hope you all enjoy it. The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, and all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? All will sing, how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands. Beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Name above all names, worthy of our praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. Name above all names, worthy of all praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And I will see how great is our God.
This morning, we'll be looking in the book of Genesis for our sermons. It's from the life of a man by the name of Joseph. Perhaps you've heard of him. In particular, it's from the 50th chapter in verses 18 to 21, if you want to turn to that. But we're going to be talking about the entire section from chapter 37 through 50. I want to tell you the story. I want to tell you the story of what's happened in Joseph's life. There is nothing in the world like family stuff when you have to deal with problems. Isn't it true? You can hide from your problems at work by staying home, or at least going home on the weekends. You can hide from things with the organization you're involved in by withdrawing. In your community, you can shut the doors and turn the lights out and pull the curtains and pretend you're not there. But your family has this way of working its way in every part of your life. And there are people there that you have to deal with. And a lot of times, things that are really, in the end, are pretty small, kind of rubbed the wrong way, and make life difficult. One thing for me, it's a small thing. My younger brother and I's birthday were 2 years and 3 days apart. And so we didn't have my birthday, his birthday, we had our birthday. Oh, I know. But it seemed to me significant at the time. We got the same thing. If it was a birthday party, we had our birthday party. I don't know. But there it is. And it's always in your face. There's always this brother right there. Always, always, always. They don't go away. And that proximity can make it rub. Can make it rub. But I want you to think about Joseph. Joseph, one of 12 brothers. Eventually there was a 13. And they lived in a family that was isolated to itself. They were God's separate people. They were their own community. All their civic organizations, all their schooling, all their training, all their work, it was all together. And they had a lot of opportunity for things to rub the wrong way. And it all goes back to great-grandpa. This man by the name of Abraham. And the name means great father. It was Abram to start with, great father. His name was later changed to Abraham, father of many. And God is saying something about the family, because that's the promise, that from this one man, he's going to make a great family. And Abraham struggled. Abraham struggled because they promised a great family. They would be powerful, and they couldn't have children. Couldn't have children. How does this work with God? Then he makes this promise, and for years and years, no children. No children. And it was a difficult thing for him. It was a fear-filled thing. God's promise is that for Abraham and Sarah, this family would come. And there are things that stuck in their lives. At least twice, Abraham went to places he shouldn't have been, once to the Egyptians, once to the Philistine people. And when the king saw his wife, he said, she's not my wife, she's my sister. Because he was afraid they would kill him. He was afraid. And for his fear, he traded the promise of God. Now, God saved him from that and stopped it. But that's Abraham. Don't you know that there's a wedge in their relationship there? Don't you know that there's a feeling of betrayal? There's a problem there. And not only that, Sarah was afraid as well. And when she couldn't have that baby that they wanted so much, she said, here's my servant, Hagar. Let's have a baby that way. And from that child, Ishmael, came the Ishmaelites. The Ishmaelites are the cradle of the Arabic peoples that we see now that are such enemies to all the Jewish people, all the Israeli people, the descendants of Abraham. You see the trouble that cropped up because of fear in their lives? Finally late in life, far beyond the time for bearing children, the promised child came. The angel said he was coming, and he came. And we have Abraham's son Isaac. And he was born in Abraham's old age. Isaac was a different character. Abraham was a man of action. He was a leader. He was a producer. He grew great flocks. When there was trouble, he was able to deal with it with his own private army. He was a man who was capable. And Isaac, following him, is almost the exact opposite. He seems to be a stay-at-home, quiet guy, doesn't do a whole lot. And Abraham's watching what's happening and going, we kind of need a family here. And Isaac kind of needs to have a wife, and Isaac's not doing anything about it. So Abraham's final act is to send a servant back to his family's people to find a wife for his son. And that's done. They found Rebekah. And she came back. And with she and Isaac, they continued their family as they moved along. And she and Rebekah had twin sons, Jacob and Esau. We always call them Jacob and Esau, but actually the oldest one is Esau. And the younger one is Jacob. And Isaac's laid-back personality shows in the life of these two boys. because they are left to grow up according to their personal inclinations, who they are, just because of what their body and chemistry is like. And you see, Esau, who was Dad's favorite, the laid-back, quiet, not do a whole lot. Isaac loved action-packed, go get him, tear it up. Esau, this guy is like Dynasty on steroids, really. I mean, he's a wild man. He likes to live in the wild. He hunts wild game. He's not interested in farming or collecting or hanging around the house. He wants to go on these long hunts. And we find that he is on all of his adventures when he came back home and found that Jacob was cooking. And he was so hungry. He was so hungry that Jacob traded him stew for Isaac's birthright as the oldest son. As Esau's birthright as the oldest son. Isaac caught him hungry. Jacob caught him hungry. See, Jacob, where Esau is the adventurous, Jacob stays at home. He minds his business. He makes sure that he has everything together. And he is careful to move himself forward. Where Esau is heedless, Jacob is thinking all the time and looking for a way to take advantage. He took the birthright from his older brother, and then in Isaac's old age, when he was weak and nearly blind, could hardly hear, he tricked his own father. Nearly on his deathbed, he tricked his own father into giving him the blessing rather than his older brother. He pretended to be Esau. He pretended to cook wild game for him. He pretended to be all these things. He even put a hairy skin over his arm so that his father felt it. He could feel the hairy arm of his brother Esau. He took advantage of that old man to steal what he wanted. Can you see the trouble here? The problems among brothers, how they rub each other the wrong way? Jacob, the con man, had to hit the road because Isaac, the man of action, was going to kill him. And he went to find his family, his distant relatives. He went back to the people of his uncle Laban, where his mother had come from. This is his mother's brother. And he went to find them and be a part of their life. And who did he meet? Lovely Rachel. Yes, he did. That's the first person he met when he came there. And he fell in love. I don't know that he really loved her, but he certainly fell in love. This is who he had to have. Now, as you know, in those days, marriages were on the barter system. And seeing as Jacob had come away with nothing but his skin and was glad to have that, what was he trading but his labor? And for 7 years, he worked. He worked to receive Rachel as his wife. And after 7 years in a wedding, he woke up married to her sister Leah. You see, Jacob's not the only con man in the family. Laban's pretty good. And so it ends up 14 years. And Jacob ends up with 2 wives. One he loves, and one he does not. And it sets the stage for this huge conflict, this difficult place. We have Leah, who is the loveless, and Rachel, who's the childless. Can you think of 2 more hurtful things in a woman's life than those? One, that the husband's married her, but really wish he hadn't. Doesn't care, doesn't connect, does not build. And one who wants to build that family and fill a house full of children and move forward as God has promised, and it's not happening. Can you think of anything more devastating, more troublesome, more hurtful, and how that kind of pain, one plays on the other? One complains, well, my problems are worse. And so there was war with the tense. There's difficulty. Generation after generation, this conflict is rising and becoming stronger.